Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers, and this is our full review of the Skechers GoRun Razor Excess. Dive in with a few key stats for the shoe. Start with the price. It is £125 in the UK or $140 in the US, although I have seen it available very widely for a lot cheaper than that in the UK at least. It weighs just 210 grams in my UK size 9, which is 7.4 ounces, very lightweight, especially given that it has a 30mm stack at the heel there. It's 26mm at the front, it's a 4mm drop from heel to toe. Looking at the shoe itself, it's got a very lightweight kind of monomesh upper, quite a stiff material there, but it felt quite comfortable on the run, I found. You're not really getting any padding on the tongue here, but there is a decent amount of cushion around, the kind of heel and collar here. This is designed to be kind of a shoe that you use for a lot of miles. It's not just like a really lightweight speed session only shoe, so it's been made quite comfortable in that area by Skechers. Got a fairly rigid heel there, but there's no noticeable heel counter aside from the kind of slightly raised bits around the midsole here. That midsole is Skechers Hyperburst material, which is nitrogen and carbon infused. It's a really good kind of foam. It's one that we've only been able to test out recently on the Run Testers. We haven't really had access to Skechers shoes before, but now we have. We're really enjoying it. It's one of the kind of first nitrogen infused foam that I heard about from anyone really, and the Excess has a bit more of it than kind of other Skechers Razor shoes in the past. They've obviously upped the stack here to give you a bit more kind of cushion and protection, but it's also got Skechers Hyper Arc geometry in the shoe. It looks like a very pronounced rocker there, as you can see. That's again to kind of aid transition from heel to toe, hopefully propel you off your toes a little bit as well, especially when aided with this kind of light poppy foam in the midsole. On the outsole, you've got Goodyear rubber, and you've got a really nice big covering of that all over the shoe. It does a really good job, I found, in all kind of conditions so far, and you've got a lot of it there. It's not the thickest layer in the world, but it's a nice generous covering. It holds up very well, and yeah, so far I've been impressed with the outsole as well as the midsole. When it comes to fit, the Skechers GoRun Excess actually live up to their name, and there is a little bit of excess room at the front there. They're quite a long, thin shoe, and I found that I had a fair bit of room at the front of the toe box, more than I'd really need. But they are quite narrow around the midfoot, so I'm not sure if I'd recommend sizing down. I didn't mind the extra room on the run, but yeah, a bit of a tricky one. If you have a narrow foot, probably size down. I think I could have sized down a half size. If you have a wide foot, you're probably going to have to stay true to size at least, just because it is quite narrow around the midfoot. So I've done about 80k in the shoe, and I've been using it really as an all-rounder. I've tried kind of a good range of runs in it, because I do think that's really what this shoe could be used for. It can tackle everything from kind of very easily slow recovery runs right up to speed sessions and really even races. It's a really versatile option just because it is so lightweight, but still has a fair amount of cushioning there. It made a really, really good first impression on me on my first run in it. If you've seen the first run video, I went out and did kind of steady 10 miles in it, just under an hour, and then rounded up with some strides at the end. And I just really liked it. It felt very kind of smooth and really disappeared on the foot. It's light, there's a bit of kind of pop there, but it's not really a very overbearing ride. Even with that pronounced rocker, I didn't really feel like it was intruding on my ride. It just felt great on the foot, and didn't at all bottom out, which I feared, because it is so light. The foam feels a little bit firm kind of when you step into it, but actually at the end of the run you're still getting a good amount of rebound there. It's protective on the legs, and I really enjoyed using it at that kind of steadier pace. And then the pickup on the shoe was great for the strides, just because it is so lightweight. Then from there, I did kind of a lot of easy running in the shoe, and then also within that, kind of some general base runs and some real recovery runs. And on the general base runs, it's fine. Like I said, it's just a lightweight shoe. It is protective, it is cushioned, it feels pretty good. On the pure recovery runs, I'd say it maybe isn't quite as comfortable as some people would like. I took it out the day after a 24 miler, and it didn't feel like it was really protecting the legs as much as some of those really plush, cushy options out there that you can find, like things like the Saucony's Triumph, Brooks Glycerin, Nike Invincible, maybe the Skechers Max Road 5, a shoe I haven't tested. Just a bit more cushion and a slightly softer cushion of a slightly plusher upper. Sometimes feels a bit nicer on the foot, after a really long run the next day or a really hard speed session. But it wasn't terrible. It can handle that recovery run, and like I say, on base training runs, it's a nice lightweight shoe to pull on. doesn't feel like you have to go fast in it. You can just roll through, plod through your miles quite nicely, and yeah, it does a good job of that as well. And yeah, in fact, it does obviously lack a little bit perhaps of that all-out comfort on recovery runs. It's made off the fact that it's so light and versatile and can be taken, to the other end of the spectrum. It's a great shoe for speed sessions, tempo runs. I think it's really good for kind of short, sharp efforts, just all about that quick pickup, light feel, nice speedy transition. And then today I took it out for a progression 8-miler, rolling from about 620 per mile down to 520 per mile, so finishing around 320 a K. And yeah, it just did a really good job on that. Like I say, it's just not a shoe that I really think about actually when I'm running in it. It feels like it just lets you run. Don't feel it on the foot. Doesn't kind of impact your stride. It just feels really nice. Just roll through nicely, lightweight. It's not springing you forward in a propulsive way like you will find with shoes with a plate in them, or maybe a slightly more kind of squishy and reboundy foam. Like, it is a nice foam, but it's not kind of, it's not like a Zoom X or, New Balance's Fuel Cell. It doesn't feel quite like that. It just feels fairly traditional, but in a good way, like in a, like I say, a nice poppy way, and it really enjoyed it today on that progression run. Only thing I think it might lack is on really long race pace runs, or fast runs. I think it maybe just wouldn't give you enough back compared to some of the really fantastic options out there today. Like, you could get a bit more from things like the Endorphin Speed or a shoe with a carbon plate in it. But I do think it's a great shoe that will work really well for kind of short races, like I say, speed work, track work even. And if you're someone who maybe doesn't want to use a plated shoe for lots of stuff, then it's another really good option. So the GoRun Excess is one of the better kind of all-rounder shoes that I've tested out this year. It's lightweight, fun, just lets you get on with your run really. It's like smooth, it is fast, but it is comfortable enough to use for kind of a lot of base training as well. It may be lacking the all-out comfort that a lot of people might like for kind of really relaxed, easy running. So I really like it. I'm not a very lightweight runner. I weigh about 70 kilos, but I'm reasonably quick, and I'm training hard for a marathon at the moment. It's a shoe that really fits my kind of preferences. I really like a lightweight shoe, even on kind of easy runs, that has a nice turnover. I like a bit of a rocker. And if you are looking for kind of more comfort, or you're not necessarily training very hard for an event right now and want just kind of more of a general shoe, just get out and enjoy your miles in, maybe it isn't that. It is, I think, does feel like slightly geared towards kind of more the performance end of things rather than a comfy cruiser of a shoe. This is also a really heavily thought out category, and a category I invest a lot of time in testing shoes. It's my favourite kind of category, the kind of really lightweight, all-rounder shoe that you can use for racing, but is also a great trainer. Some of my favourites up there are things like the Hoka Mach 4, then there's a New Balance Rebel V2, and then the kingpin for me is still the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2, and that remains the case. The Endorphin Speed 2 is still better than this shoe. It's a fair bit more expensive, but it's quicker. It's not lighter, but it does feel faster on the foot. You get a bit more back from the nylon plate in it and that kind of power run PB foam that they use in it, and it is comfier to go long distances in, either at race pace or just at easy pace. So still do rate the Endorphin Speed above it, but like I say, it's a fair bit more expensive. And I do think this is pretty comparable to the Mach 4 and the Rebel. Like, the Mach 4 is a softer, comfier ride. It's a really nice shoe to use for kind of long runs. It's a shoe that I consider like doing a marathon in, even going for quite a fast time in that, if you weren't using carbon plate shoes. And it's more comfortable when it comes to kind of those recovery runs, while still being quite light and great for speed stuff as well. And the Rebel is a squishier, kind of more of a modern shoe in a way, I guess, with the kind of fuel cell foam. It's a bit more squish and response. It's very lightweight like this. Again, I think it is comfier on easy runs. I sometimes feel though with the Rebel, though, when you get into fast stuff, you lose a bit in that kind of big stack of soft foam. It's it doesn't feel like you're getting it all back in a direct, speedy way. This is a very direct shoe. Like when you run in it, when you put the energy in, it's coming straight back forward, and you can run fast really nicely and pick up really nicely. Whereas the Rebel, when I took it to like track work or did really fast runs in it, I felt that maybe I'm just losing a bit into this foam here, because there's no plate in it, and it is a very soft and a big high stack of it. So it's still a great shoe, but those, I'd say the Mach 4, the Rebel V2, and the GoRun Excess, you've got three really good options there that are kind of all pitched just above the £100 mark in the UK, but actually this is available for less than £100, and that does make it a very good value option. You're probably getting more comfort from the Rebel V2 and the Hoka Mach 4, if that's what you're looking for here. This is, like I say, it's not uncomfortable at all, I don't think, but it probably is a shoe that some people will find a little bit firmer than those other two options. All in all, big fan of the GoRun Razor Excess. Certainly a shoe to look out for if you're looking for a lightweight kind of daily trainer that can handle your speed stuff, and especially as it is often in sales at the moment, I'd look out for it as a bit of a bargain in this category as well, because I do think it comes in a fair bit cheaper than those other three shoes I've mentioned, which is always a plus. That's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching our review of the Skechers GoRun Razor Excess. Have you tried the shoe? Have you tried Skechers shoes in general? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, ring the little bell, and we will see you next time.